NFL Icons coming up on EPIX on Saturday night. We talked to Steve Young prior to his episode a couple of weeks ago, Hall of Famer Steve Young, and the same for our next guest on the Mercedes-Benz Vans phone line. Love chatting with him, and his episode is very moving. Heck of a story that winds up, by the way, spoiler alert, in the Hall of Fame. He is none other than Cris Carter on the Mercedes-Benz Vans phone line. How you doing, Cris?
Rich, what's going on, buddy?
What's going on with you?
All good, man.
Where have I found you? Where are you going right now? You going somewhere
We're
right
in
now?
South Florida. We're in South Florida.
Okay.
Headed over to the country club. It's a little cloudy day. The weather's finally broken.
Okay. Very
It's
good.
not stifling hot, but all good here, man. How you doing?
Have you seen your episode of NFL Icons yet? Have you checked that out? Have you peeped it?
I haven't seen it. They've sent me a couple clips. I've seen those. And but I am excited to see what they put together.
It is amazing. Again, NFL Films producing it. EPIX is putting it on the air, and I'm narrating it. And I just thought of you the entire time. Obviously, it's your story. But, the fact that you wound up where you wound up and the manner in which you did is pretty amazing. You ever sit back and think about your journey at all, Cris?
Well, it wouldn't be the type of advice or a do-over. People say, "Oh, give me a mulligan." I wouldn't try to do that one over. I think, all those steps were necessary for me to be able to pick up a little bit of something along the way, but I wouldn't try it again.
Okay. I bet not. And so what is your proudest achievement, looking back, Cris, of your career? What is that?
To me, it's got to been everything really came off of, my sobriety. Labor Day 1990. Got cut by Philadelphia a couple weeks after that. Finally gave up drinking. Haven't had a drink since then, over 32 years. So for me, it gave me really the tools, a lot of really self discipline. And also gave me the confidence back in myself that I had lost, along the way.
And who's the most talented player you played with in your career, Cris? Anywhere, at any level. Who's the most talented player?
I have to say Reggie White. I mean, it's a toss-up between him and Randy Moss because you just don't see people that move like that. I think Reggie's ability to play up and down the defensive line, not have any type of weakness, not only his athletic ability, but the human spirit behind him. That. Reggie White, 6'6", 290. That's a pretty tight package if I'm building an athlete.
And did he ever try to counsel you when you were in Philadelphia, Cris?
Oh, yeah, he did some of his best work, and then once he got traded to Green Bay, or once he hit free agency in Green Bay, we became even closer than ever, talking on a weekly basis, getting together as much as we could get together. He was truly one of the great role models that I had in my life.
And then Randy Moss, what was your role in helping unlock his potential in that day?
Well, this is the thing, Rich. I don't take credit for what Randy Moss did.
Of course.
Because we have a lot of talented players that come into the league, and they make up their mind, I'm going to be great, regardless of what happens. I just happened to be there with Dennis Green. We had a great system. I played the position that he wanted to know about. So he did everything that he could to be as good as he could be. So a lot of times, you have to give the person credit for being able to make adjustments and to learn all the things he had to learn coming from, Marshall to the National Football League.
Mm-hmm. And then just watching you guys play together. Did I see a video on Twitter the other day of Reggie White throwing you out of the club when you were trying to actually block him in a game? Did I see that, Cris?
The thing about it, Rich, it's one of those segments that your producer tells you, oh, it's going to go great. I don't feel it. It's not going to go well. And then you get in the actual show, you put the segment out there, then it bombs, but you're the one out there, but you don't tell them afterwards, hey, I told the guy not to put that out there. But I told Brian Billick not to run that play because Reggie was going to be loafing on the backside, and then that's what ends up happening. He throws me into the quarterback. I think that actually my stats might have to be changed. I might get credit for a sack.
He did throw you, right? Did he throw? Was it Randall? Did he throw you into Randall? Is that who he threw?
Let's go Warren Moon.
Warren Moon.
Yeah.
That's a Hall of Fame. That was right. Yeah. Oh, my gosh. What a Hall of Fame combination that is. He threw you into Warren Moon. I saw that the other day. I'm like, if Chris comes on, I got to just bring up your memory of that. So, Billick, you told him, don't run it. And then he ran it. And then, oh, my gosh. I love it. Chris Carter here on the Rich Eisen Show. And my favorite part of this NFL Icons show, you haven't seen this clip yet, is when you sat down and you talked about how you wish you were recruited by Michigan. It was a great moving moment of that show, Chris. Wait a minute. I'm being told that didn't happen. That wasn't part of your show. No.
You want to hear a Michigan recruiting story?
Sure.
I mean, of course, when you grew up in the Midwest, you got a lot of respect and everything for Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
So on my visit there, Bo Schembechler, he throws me the number 1 jersey. In high school, I wore number 1.
That's the one. That's the big jersey. That's the jersey. That's Anthony Carter's jersey. You want to talk about Vikings wide receivers too? Okay.
And then he said, a kid last year wanted it, and I told him no, he couldn't have it because a kid from Ohio was coming next year, and he was going to wear number 1.
And
I was a little insulted that he thought that I would be coming to Michigan. Like, at that point, I was going to play basketball. And I had more interest in the Michigan basketball program than I did the football program. So, of course, I decided to go to Ohio State, and I decided to play both basketball and football. But after being Rose Bowl MVP my freshman year, we decided we're going to concentrate on football.
So, wait a minute. What year was that? What year was that then?
The winter of 83.
Winter of 83. So that's when Bill Frieder was there, Gary Grant, right? Those were, Antoine Joubert. That was
another reason why I couldn't come is because Gary Grant, he was the number 1 point guard in the state, and I was like the number 2 guard. But I knew that I would have to play 2 and I had to guard so many because Gary wasn't going to guard nobody. So I was going to have to guard the best guards in all the Big Ten, and that was going to be a rough assignment.
So, wait, hold on a second, Chris. So you're offered the number 1 jersey at Michigan, which, by the way, just for instance, Chris, that's similar to being offered 44 in Syracuse. It's similar to being offered 55 if you're a linebacker at USC. It's the highest honor. Bo Schembechler says, I saved 1 for you, and you took that as an insult? Is that what you're saying?
Well, the thing about it is you can't predict like something like that into the future.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't going to wear number 1 in college anyway. I'd already decided that I was going to turn a new chapter and wear number 2. So anywhere I went, I was going to be wearing number 2. So it was probably a good little, he was a good salesman, not a great salesman because he would have been able to land me. And he would have known that, and he would have been more in cahoots with the basketball coach. And he wanted me to play football only, so it was going to be tough.
I don't think he was a fan of Frieder, as we found out years later when he was the athletic director and he told Frieder to get out. I think you were you strolled into some serious political infighting at the time right there. And plus, oh man, if you had worn 2, you'd be able to look at Charles Woodson now and say you wore my number. You could have done that. You could have done all that, but that would have changed your whole story anyway. Are you concerned about Michigan this year? You concerned about losing 2 in a row to the Wolverines, Chris?
I mean, I'm not concerned about it. I think we have a good football team.
Mm-hmm.
Last year, Michigan, they took it to us, especially in the trenches.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that we've gotten better as far as the offensive line. Our defensive line is definitely getting a lot more pressure on the quarterback. And I'm not overly impressed with your quarterback. So I look forward to the 3rd week in November when Big Blue's got to travel to the Horseshoe.
Okay. All right. I will be on my phone that day, Chris. I will be on my phone that day. And, I've been talking a lot. I've been saying stuff with my chest. I've been writing some verbal checks. And so I'm looking forward to this day, Chris. This is going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun.
It's always a big day. So for you guys, you're going to get right back on track the same way you were the 10 years before you won last year's game. We'll get you right back in your spot.
Are you going to be there? You have plans to actually physically be there that day?
I plan on being there, Rich.
Of course you are. Okay. Chris?
We're bringing out all the stops.
What stops are those? What stops? 'Cause, on third down? Those third down stops? Third down stops?
We got LeBron. We got Bronny coming back into town. We're doing it all, bro.
Are you saying that just to say, or that's actually happening? You know that LeBron's coming?
I'm just saying it to get under your skin.
I love you, Cris Carter. Thanks for calling in. And I'd love to hear what you think of the episode. It really is beautiful. It's great stuff. NFL Icons with Cris Carter coming up Saturday at 10 Eastern on EPIX. Thanks for the call, brother. You're the best.
You know I always appreciate you, man.
Right back at you. Hit him straight today. That's where you're heading.
Okay.
Hit him straight. At Cris Carter 80 on Twitter. At Cris Carter 1965 on Instagram. And, of course, you can watch this show by streaming EPIX on the Roku channel. Soon to be MGM Plus, by the way.
Oh, really?
Yes, sir. Going to rebrand.
Oh, cool.
You start a free trial today on the Roku channel.